Picture this. You're slicing into a ripe mango, savoring that sweet burst of summer, thinking you're doing your body a favor. Or maybe you're sipping fresh orange juice, feeling virtuous as the sun rises. You've spent years trusting fruit, nature's candy, right? But what if I told you those very bites could be secretly sabotaging you? That the fruits you love might be why your legs feel heavy, your knees ache, and your steps falter? Welcome to a jaw-dropping wake-up call. Not all fruits are the allies you think, especially after 60. In this video, we're peeling back the shocking truth. 7 everyday fruits that could be wrecking your leg strength, leaving you stiff, swollen, and sidelined. Pineapple? A hidden inflamer. Bananas? Muscle imposters. Grapes? Tiny joint destroyers. And that's just the start. But don't toss your fruit bowl yet, because we're not stopping at the bad news. Stick around, and I'll reveal the game-changing swaps, berries, avocados, and more that can lift you back to your feet, stronger than ever, ready to rethink everything you know about staying healthy in your golden years? Let's dive in. Your legs will thank you. Meet Ellen, a spirited grandma who's always prided herself on her independence. She's the one chasing her grandkid around the backyard, tending her garden and savoring the simple joy of a morning walk. But lately, something's shifted, a quiet, creeping ache in her legs that stops her in her tracks. She's baffled, even a little scared. Ellen's been eating her fruits religiously, trusting those bright, natural goodies to keep her strong. So when the truth crashes over like a wave, it's nothing short of a gut punch. Some of those beloved fruits aren't just failing her, they're tearing her down bite by bite. It's a revelation that feels like a betrayal. Those juicy grapes she pops while watching TV, the oranges she squeezes into her morning glass, they're not the allies she thought. For seniors like Ellen, the wrong fruits aren't just a harmless indulgence. They're stealthy thieves, slipping into her system and igniting chaos. Inflammation flares up like wildfire, scorching her muscles and joints. Her nerves buzz with irritation, and her blood flow slows, leaving her legs heavy, unsteady, almost foreign. That dull throb in her calves after dinner, the way her knees groan climbing the porch steps. It's not just getting old. It's a silent war she never signed up for, waged by the very food she trusted to keep her whole. Ellen's heart sinks as she imagines the years she's unknowingly fed this cycle of pain. But beneath the shock, a spark ignites. Anger, yes, but also hope. She's not powerless. These fruits might stir up swelling that makes her ankles puff, or stiffness that locks her hips, but they don't get the final say. This isn't about giving up the sweetness of life. It's about reclaiming the strength to live it. Every step she takes now, every wobbly, defiant stride, becomes a testament to her resilience. The culprits may have caught her off guard, but Ellen's ready to fight back, to rewrite the story her legs tell. Because for her, and for every senior feeling that same quiet ache, the real shock isn't the damage. It's the power they still hold to rise above it, stronger than ever. 1. Pineapple. Say hello to Margaret, a vibrant 68-year-old who spent her life cherishing the little joys. A stroll to the farmer's market, a dance at her granddaughter's wedding, the crunch of a fresh pineapple slice on a lazy afternoon. She's always believed in the goodness of fruit, a habit woven into her days like a comforting melody. But lately, her legs whisper a different tune. Stiffness in her thighs, a pang in her knees that catches her breath. She brushes it off as age, until the truth lands like a thunderclap. That sweet, golden pineapple she adores isn't healing her. It's breaking her down one sugary bite at a time. The shock is visceral. Margaret's hands tremble as she stares at the fruit bowl on her counter, a once innocent treasure now a hidden foe. For seniors like her, pineapple isn't the soothing remedy she thought. Beneath its tropical charm lurks a double-edged sword, natural sugars and acidic bite that hit her aging body like a storm. Those sugars spike her blood, fraying the tiny vessels that keep her legs alive, while the acid stokes a fire of inflammation she can't see but damn well feels. Her ankles swell, her calves tire too fast, and that dull ache she blamed on rainy days? It's the pineapple, quietly carving a path of destruction through her mobility. Tears prick her eyes, not just from the pain, but from betrayal. She's been feeding her body a lie, thinking she's choosing health when she's stoking harm. Worse, it's a sneaky saboteur. Those enzymes she praised might even tangle with her blood thinners, leaving her legs weaker, bruised, more fragile. It's not dramatic at first, just a slow unraveling she mistook for time's cruel march. But Margaret's not one to surrender. Beneath the sting of this discovery burns a fierce resolve. She can still dance, still walk, still live, if she lets go of what's holding her back. That pineapple might have blindsided her, but it's awakened something deeper, a longing to reclaim her strength, to stand tall again. For Margaret, this isn't just about fruit. It's about fighting for the woman she's always been, legs steady, heart unbroken, ready to rise. 2. Bananas. Meet Tom, a 70-year-old retiree with a grin that lights up any room, and a love for life's simple pleasures, like the soft, creamy bite of a ripe banana after his morning coffee. He's a guy who's always up for a walk around the block, tossing a ball with his grandson, or tending his little veggie patch. But lately, something's off. His legs feel like they're dragging through mud, a heaviness he can't shake. He chalks it up to the years piling on, until a jolting truth smacks him square in the chest. Those trusty bananas, his go-to snack for decades, aren't the muscle-saving heroes he thought. They're imposters, quietly draining the strength he's fought to keep. The realization stings like a slap. Tom's mind reels as he stares at the yellow bunch on his kitchen counter. Once a symbol of health, now a traitor in disguise. For seniors like him, bananas don't just deliver potassium. They unleash a flood of sugars and carbs that hit his aging body like a wrecking ball. That quick glucose rush spikes his insulin, tangling his system in a mess of resistance and weight that settles around his legs. His calves tighten after meals, his steps falter on the stairs, and a strange ache creeps in, subtle at first, but relentless. It's not just tiredness. It's a circulation choking oxygen and nutrients starving his muscles, leaving them weaker with every passing day. Tom's throat tightens. He's been blindsided by a fruit he trusted, a companion through years of morning routines and quiet moments. Worse, for someone with a heart that's not as spry as it once was, those bananas pile on water weight, swelling his ankles, making every move a battle. He feels the sting of loss, not just of strength, but of innocence, that naive faith in what he thought was good. Yet amid the shock, a fire flickers. Tom's no quitter. He can still feel the grass under his feet, still hear his grandson's laugh. This betrayal won't define him. It's a wake-up call. With every heavy step, he's vowing to fight back, to swap the imposter for choices that lift him up. For Tom, this isn't the end. It's the start of standing stronger, banana-free and unbroken. 3 grapes. Say hi to Linda, a 65-year-old with a laugh that echoes through her cozy home and a habit of keeping a bowl of grapes on her coffee table, ready for a quick nibble during her favorite shows. She's the kind of woman who treasures her evening walks with her dog, the crunch of leaves underfoot, and the comfort of routine. But lately, her legs tell a different story. A sharp twinge in her toes, a swell in her ankles that makes her wince. She blames it on time, until a staggering truth crashes through her like a rogue wave. Those tiny, innocent grapes she's been popping like candy aren't just a sweet treat. They're tiny bombs, blowing up her joints and stealing her stride. The shock knocks the wind out of her. Linda's fingers hover over the bowl, frozen, as her mind spins. Grapes, those soft, bite-sized delights she's loved since childhood, are now her quiet enemies? For seniors like her, the fructose hiding in their juicy flesh isn't harmless. It's a slow poison, piling up in her liver, turning into fat and uric acid that settle like shards in her aging joints. One handful too many, and suddenly gout flares up, a searing pain that wakes her at night, toes burning, knees screaming. Even without gout, the inflammation simmers, a smoldering fire she never saw coming, turning her calves tight, her steps sluggish, her freedom fragile. Linda's eyes well up, a mix of disbelief and grief washing over her. She's been betrayed by something so small, so simple. A snack she thought was light now weighs her down with every bite. It's not just the pain that cuts deep. It's the realization that she's been overeating them without a second thought. A few at breakfast, a handful in the afternoon, and her legs pay the price in silence. But through the tears, A spark ignites. Linda's not ready to let go of her walks, her independence, her life. Those grapes may have ambushed her, but they've lit a fire. She's tougher than they are. She'll toss them out, trade them for something kinder, and take back the strength they tried to snatch. For Linda, this isn't defeat. It's a battle cry, a promise to rise above the tiny fruit with a big, brutal impact. 4. Watermelon. Meet Sarah, a 67-year-old with a heart full of summer memories. Picnics by the lake, the sticky juice of watermelon dripping down her chin, laughter ringing in the air. She's a grandma who still cuts up wedges for her family on hot afternoons, relishing the cool, refreshing bite that feels like a hug from the past. But these days, her legs don't share the joy. There's a weariness she can't shake, a dull ache in her calves after a short stroll. She shrugs it off as the years catching up, until a jaw-dropping truth slices through her like a knife. That beloved watermelon, her nostalgic treasure, isn't hydrating her. It's hammering her legs into submission. The revelation hits like a thunderbolt. Sarah's hands tremble as she sets down the knife, staring at the rosy flesh she's always trusted. For seniors like her, watermelon's not the light watery friend pretends to be. It's a sugar-loaded trickster with a sky-high glycemic index that sends her blood sugar soaring. That rush doesn't just fade. It unleashes a storm of inflammation, battering her vulnerable legs. Her calves throb after lunch. Her ankles puff up like they're holding on to secrets, and a walk around the yard leaves her breathless. It's not age. It's a betrayal she never saw coming. A fruit she adored now turning her body against itself. Tears blur her vision, not just from the ache, but from the sting of loss. She's been pouring love into every slice, only to find it's been pouring pain back into her. The fluid it traps in her knees, her feet. It's like chains she didn't know she was wearing, making every step a quiet struggle. For someone with a touch of diabetes, it's even worse, a slow sabotage she mistook for comfort. But Sarah's spirit flares through the hurt. She's not ready to let her summers, or her strength, slip away. That watermelon may have fooled her, but it sparked a fight she didn't know she had in her. She'll trade it for something gentler, something true, and reclaim the lightness in her stride. For Sarah, this isn't just about a fruit. It's about holding on to the woman who still dances in the sun, unbroken by the sweetness that tried to weigh her down. 5. Oranges. Say hello to Grace, a 69-year-old with a zest for mornings. Sipping orange juice on her porch, the tangy burst waking her senses as the sun peaks over the horizon. She's the one who's always stocked her fridge with citrus, a ritual born from years of believing it's her shield against colds, her ticket to vitality. But lately, her joints sing a different song, a creak in her knees, a stiffness that locks her hips after sitting too long. She blames the clock ticking past 60, until a heart-stopping truth crashes in like a storm. Those bright, cheerful oranges she's cherished aren't boosting her health. They're waging an acidic war on her legs. The shock feels like a punch to the gut. Grace's glass slips in her hand as she stares at the pulpy juice. Her morning companion now a double-crossing foe. For seniors like her, oranges don't just deliver vitamin C. They unleash citric acid that gnaws at her joints like sandpaper on fragile wood. That creeping soreness in her hips, the way her knees protest every sunrise. It's not just time wearing her down. It's inflammation flaring, fueled by a fruit she thought was a friend. The sugar piles on, too, throwing her insulin into chaos, swelling her ankles, and dimming the strength in her legs with every sip. Her chest tightens, a wave of disbelief crashing over her. She's been pouring love into this habit, only to find it's been pouring pain back, quietly, cruelly, day after day. It's not loud agony, but a slow theft of motion, of ease, of the Grace who used to bound upstairs without a second thought. She feels the sting of betrayal, tears welling as she mourns the innocence she lost to a glass of juice. But through the hurt, a fire kindles. Grace isn't done moving, isn't ready to let her legs surrender. Those oranges may have ambushed her, but they've lit a spark. She's stronger than their acid bite. She'll set the pitcher down, reach for something kinder, and take back the morning she deserves. For Grace, this isn't the end. It's a reckoning, a vow to rise above the fruit that tried to grind her down, her spirit as bright as the dawn she still greets with grit and grace. 6. Green apples. Meet Henry, a 72-year-old with a twinkle in his eye and a love for the crisp snap of a green apple, a daily ritual that feels like a nod to his healthier days. He's a guy who still shuffles out to his porch swing, who savors a tart bite as he watches the world go by. But lately his legs betray him, a deep ache in his calves, a stiffness that grips his knees like a vice. He figures it's just a mileage of life catching up, until a stunning truth slams into him like a freight train. That trusty green apple, his emblem of purity, isn't the saintly snack he thought. It's a hidden dagger, carving pain into his legs with every crunch. The blow lands hard. Henry's jaw drops, the apple rolling from his hand as he stares at the fruit he's leaned on for years. For seniors like him, those green gems pack a 1-2 punch. Malic acid and sugar that turn his body into a battlefield. The acid, sharp as a winter wind, seeps into his joints, sparking inflammation that burns through his hips and thighs. He feels it, the sting that radiates to his feet, the fatigue that makes a short walk feel like a marathon. Then there's the sugar, sneaking into his slowing system, throwing his blood sugar into wild swings that choke the life from his leg circulation. His heart aches, a mix of shock and sorrow flooding in. He's been blindsided by a fruit he thought was his ally, a quiet companion, now a cruel thief. The cramps that jolt him awake, the mornings he limps instead of strides. They're not just age. They're a plea he didn't hear. Tears prick his eyes as he mourns the trust he placed in every bite, the strength it stole without a whisper. But Henry's not one to fold. Beneath the hurt, a resolve simmers. He's still got fight left. That apple may have struck low, but it's ignited a fire. He'll trade it for something softer, something true, and reclaim the steps it tried to take. For Henry, this isn't surrender. It's a rebellion, a promise to stand tall again, to swing on that porch with legs that carry him, not weigh him down, as fierce as ever. 7. Mango. Say hi to Clara, a 66-year-old with a heart full of tropical dreams. Her kitchen always bright with the golden glow of a ripe mango. It's a little escape, a creamy, sweet bite that whisks her back to family vacations and sun-soaked afternoons. She's a woman who still sways to old tunes in her living room, who walks the park with a spring in her step. But lately, her legs falter, a heavy drag in her knees, a burning tingle in her feet that steals her rhythm. She blames the years creeping up, until a shattering truth hits her like a tidal wave. That luscious mango, her slice of paradise, isn't nourishing her. It's a sugar bomb blasting her joints into chaos. The shock feels like a slap. Clara's breath catches as she holds the fruit, its vibrant flesh now a traitor staring back. For seniors like her, mangoes aren't just treats. They're loaded with sugar, more than a soda, flooding her bloodstream with a rush her aging body can't tame. That spike doesn't fade quietly. It stirs a storm of inflammation, searing through her knees and ankles, leaving her legs sluggish, swollen, unsteady. For Clara, who's danced through life with a spark, it's worse. Those sugars aggravate her nerves, sparking a fire in her toes that whispers a neuropathy, a word that chills her to the core. Her eyes brim with tears, a pang of betrayal cutting deep. She's been savoring memories, only to find each bite has been chipping away at her freedom. The heaviness that slows her walks, the ache that lingers after dinner. It's not just time. It's her body crying out against a fruit she loved too much. The loss stings, but Clara's spirit pulses stronger. She's not ready to let her dances fade, to trade her park strolls for a chair. That mango may have blindsided her, but it's lit a fire she can't ignore. She'll set it aside, reach for something gentler, and fight for the steps it tried to steal. For Clara, this isn't defeat. It's a wake-up call, a vow to sway through life again, her legs as bold as her heart, unbroken by the sweetness that dared to weigh her down. Alternative. Meet James, a 71-year-old with a quiet strength, the kind of guy who's always found comfort in the little things, like the burst of a blueberry on his tongue or the creamy calm of an avocado toast morning. He spent years battling the stiffness in his legs, the slow fade of his one steady stride. chalking it up to time's relentless march. But lately, hope flickers, a whisper that has been eating wrong all along. Then, like a sunrise breaking through a storm, a stunning truth washes over him. The answer isn't in cutting fruit out, but in choosing the right ones, the healers, berries, avocados, papayas, pears, that can lift his legs from the shadows and bring him back to life. The jolt of it takes his breath away. James leans against his kitchen counter, a handful of raspberries in his palm, and feels a rush of wonder. For seniors like him, these aren't just snacks, they're quiet miracles. Blueberries and their kin, packed with antioxidants, slip into his system like gentle warriors, soothing the inflammation that's gnawed at his joints. Avocados wrap his aching knees in healthy fats, a balm he never knew he needed. Papaya, soft and kind, eases his digestion while whispering strength back into his calves. Even pears, with their subtle sweetness, steady him without a crash. It's not a diet. It's a lifeline, a chance to rewrite the story his legs have been telling. Tears well up, not from pain, but from a swelling gratitude. He's been lost in a fog of hurt, thinking strength was gone for good, only to find it's been waiting in the produce aisle all along. The ache that slowed his walks, the mornings he dreaded standing, those don't have to be forever. James feels the weight of years lift, a spark of the man who used to hike trails and chase dreams flickering back to life. This isn't just about fruit. It's about reclaiming the freedom to move, to live, to feel whole again. He'll trade the old culprits for these new allies, each by the promise to himself, to stand taller, walk lighter, and embrace the days ahead with a strength he thought he'd lost. For James, this is no small fix. It's a quiet revolution, a second chance blooming from the seeds of hope. Aging doesn't mean surrendering your strength. It's about choosing smarter, especially when it comes to what's on your plate. You might love that juicy mango or the zing of an orange, but if your legs are aching or your joints groan, listen up. Not all fruits are your friends anymore. Swap out the culprits: pineapple, bananas, grapes, watermelon, oranges, green apples, mangoes, for gentler heroes. Load up on berries like blueberries or raspberries. Their antioxidants fight inflammation, keeping your knees steady and your steps light. Slice into an avocado. Its creamy fats cushion your joints without the sugar crash. Try papaya for a soft, soothing boost of digestion and leg strength, or nibble a pear for sweetness that won't betray you. Pay attention to how you feel after eating, not just the taste. If your calves tighten or your ankles swell, it's your body waving a red flag. Don't ignore it. Start small. Ditch one troublemaker a week, replace it with a healer, and watch your mobility bloom. You're not just eating. You're fighting for mornings without stiffness, walks without pain, and the freedom to live fully. Your golden years deserve that strength, and it starts with every mindful bite. Thanks for watching. Please comment with the number 1 key to let us know you watched the whole video. We are very grateful for this. Subscribe to the channel, and remember to turn on the notification bell to see other useful content. See you in the next video.